Joining us, she is another ordained minister we got in the building, speaker, performance coach, psychologist, all of the things, best-selling author, an amazing human being, Dr. Robin Smith. Hello, welcome.
Hello there. How are you?
We're contemplate. We're contemplative. Is that how you say that? Yes,
Yeah,
we're contemplating.
contemplative and
Yes,
contemplating and
yeah,
yeah,
all of
all
that.
of it.
Yeah. We just had Debbie Turner Bell on. She's got a book out called Courageous Faith, and we're talking about God. And already there are people online was like, I want to talk about this. So I'm like, oh, Dr. Robbins here. So we can continue if you want to. But how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Sound and in my right mind. That's a good thing.
That's it. Well,
You
listen,
look so beautiful. You just are glowing.
Well, thank you so much. Let me just, I believe in telling the truth. So this is just pulling it together. I mean, this is just pulling it together.
I was going to ask if you were on vacation because you got that like
Oh.
I'm on vacation, relaxed.
No, listen, I'm working so hard that all I could do was, pull my hair back and do a little bit of something so I didn't scare you all.
I love it.
Well, fortunately, I had an appointment. I've been going to all of these doctors and stuff, and I had an appointment this morning. I was like, I'm not going because it really doesn't matter. That certain things don't matter. Certain things you got to get done, but anything cosmetic doesn't matter at this point, because however you look, and people were so superficial and so caught up in the things that don't matter of this world that it's time for things that matter to matter. So I want to lean in on the things that matter.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as you say that we create a hunger that can never be satisfied when we are airbrushed and not telling the truth, get dressed up and made up to go to the grocery store. So I often say when people see me and recognize me, or they hear my voice, because I've spent a long time on the airwaves of one sort or another, and people will say, oh, I heard your voice 4 aisles over, and then I came to see you. And I'm saying, okay, so do you recognize that I am still that same person? And I think it's important that we show ourselves in all the many facets that we come. Yeah, because otherwise it makes people think that we wake up looking this way.
Well,
and that simply is not true.
I'm watching Frankie and Grace on Netflix, Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, and Grace is married to a man who's considerably younger than she is, and the shenanigans that she went through to get back in the bed so that she looked like she was waking up with the extensions and the lashes and all of that. Get up extra early and I'm wondering, like, have any of you ever done that to wake up and like you're in a relationship with this guy. He should see you at your worst.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to be with you at your worst, then he shouldn't be with you.
And I would say see us at our, not necessarily our worst, but at our real.
Right. Okay. Correction. I take
at our real. Yeah.
Well, there's
and
a
I
dating
also just
doctor
want
in
to say,
Hollywood wouldn't agree.
There's a
what'd you
what?
say?
One of the most successful dating doctors in Hollywood would not agree. She said, if you want to get, what is it? She's like, you either want to get paid or you want to get laid. And if you want to get paid, you got to look good 24/7. And if you want to get laid, you got to have a lot of money so you can buy it. She got about 14 books. She is the celebrity dating doctor in Hollywood.
I'm sure. And if we were to look at, because lies often sell because they create a craving for the very thing that we don't have. And so I can understand why she has 14 books and why people are running after chasing the lie. But Dr. King said that no lie can live forever. And so I really believe that part of what we're doing here today is to dismantle all of those lies so that people can put on clothing that is actually their own and live in some kind of authenticity and freedom.
I'm appreciating this period of time, and I feel like, there's nothing we could do about it. We were talking with Debbie Turner Bell about this as well. Devastating things happen. We're never really prepared for that devastating thing. You think you're prepared for, death or whatever, but this came out of left field, COVID, and a lot of folk didn't know how to adjust, and people still aren't adjusting. And you think about like, okay, this may be your new normal. And somebody posted school starting back up for me as well, and they were like, we're only going to do remote learning because my pre-COVID pants no longer fit. It was a professor, and I was like, you know, so as a result, we're not going to have in-person learning because I can't fit into my pants. And I think that that's funny, but you know, but it's also, there's some truth to it, you know, even the clothing, you know, how we were dressing. You know, I remember I was like, when did the eyelash thing, because I went to get my eyelashes put in before COVID. I was, because they were like, we got to put cameras in. I was like, all right, I'm going to go get the eyelashes. Okay. And it took like 2 hours to put all of the lashes in. And then I'm like, okay, this doesn't last. And then I got to go back in 3 weeks and it's heavy and I don't like it. And it was just a lot. Right. And, but there's a lot to it, right? People get all of this for what?
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. I had a friend once say to me, and I've had a couple of people say this to me, like, don't be so secure coming out looking the way you look. Like, nobody, you shouldn't be that secure. You ought to do something to dress yourself up. Don't feel that good that you can just roll out and, you know, be seen. And I do think, although that author and that, you know, celebrity psychologist may be selling books, she's also selling a lie. She's selling something that is not obtainable. And that does not mean there is not truth to getting laid or getting paid, but at what price? At what price? How many divorces, how many, you know, triads are going on where somebody is still craving something from someone else? And so I just want to invite us to remember that there is something about loving the self that nothing can replace. Nothing can replace it.
Agreed. But how many people ever get there in their lifetime?
Well, not enough, but also I would say how many people are offered the invitation, because we are selling what you just talked about, you know, the getting laid, getting paid. I mean, it's like diet. How much, I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Did you want to starve yourself, you know, and hate yourself as you are? So I think the opportunity is really around how many of us have been invited into a real relationship with ourselves, and not many, not many.
What does that look like? Dr. Robin is here. Tanya Pinkins is here, of course. To be invited into a relationship with yourself, what does that mean?
You know, it's interesting. In the last chapter of Hungry, my third book, I have a chapter that's called It Only Takes Two. And it's based on the story of Jesus being challenged about his identity. You know, there people were thinking he was everyone except who he was. And he said, you know, it is written in your law. So he used the law. It is written that I only need two witnesses, or that a person only needs two witnesses to be credentialed as themselves. He said, my Father is my first witness and I am the other. And so what it looks like, Karen, is for someone to be able to say, maybe you don't like me. Maybe you think I'm too heavy or too slim or too dark or too light or don't have the right teeth or the right eyelashes. But there is a divine affirming presence on my life that says I am enough as I am. And that second affirming vote is the vote I give myself. And so there is something about having that kind of power. It doesn't mean that people can't hurt our feelings. It doesn't mean that we're always being paid or laid, but it does mean that we're not being owned. And as Black people in particular, the issue of ownership, because we were owned, we were kidnapped and then sold for almost nothing. And so owning the self, owning our own integrity and our own bodies and our own passion and our own grief and pain is a piece of what every human being needs, but particularly we as Black people who were sold for nothing. And then we turn around and we sell ourselves trying to get laid and paid.